If you're not generating enough leads at the moment, it's probably because you do not have a lead magnet and you don't have a lead magnet funnel to actually go and generate more leads and then turn those leads into revenue for your business. So in this video, I'm going to break down how you can actually go and choose the right lead magnet, how to deliver the lead magnet, and then how to actually plug this into your marketing funnel. Let's get into it. So there are different types of lead magnets that you can actually go and create and start generating leads for your business with, but I'm just going to explain what a lead magnet actually is if you don't already know. So basically it's something that you give away for free or at a very small cost to someone who has a problem, and it helps them solve that problem. And in return, typically what you would get is their email address or their name and their phone number or their company name, whatever it may be. So I'm going to walk through how to actually go and choose the right lead magnet, but just to explain this in its most simple terms, a lead magnet is a complete solution to a narrow problem. So for example, if you're a personal trainer and you want people to come into your ecosystem, and you might have something like a calorie calculator as just something to give to someone for free in exchange for their email address, so they can figure out how many calories that they should be having on a daily basis to actually go and lose weight. So it's a complete solution to that very small problem because they just don't know how many calories they should be having on a daily basis. Now, once you've solved that problem, it reveals the next problem. If we use their personal trainer, that next problem is basically someone who doesn't know how to train, they don't know what to eat. So you've only solved that very small problem, and then what the personal trainer would do is actually go and sell the implementation. Like, hey, we've got this 6-week fat loss program or whatever. But in this video, I'm going to be explaining some more sort of B2B use cases and B2C use cases as well. So this image is actually pulled from Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers book, where it basically just explains what is a good lead magnet. So the reason why we actually go and create lead magnets is because everyone has their core offer here, which is, it might be your product or it might be your service, which is your core offer, which is, generally what you're trying to sell. But the issue is only 3% of the market is actually available and ready to go and buy your product or service. So when you're targeting these people, it's tough because these people don't even know, like, or trust you, and you're basically trying to pitch them your core offer. And, if you're a business and you're pitching something that's over $10,000 or, $3,000, these people don't trust you. So, typically Alex Hormozi explains that only 1 out of 25 will actually go and convert. But the reason why we create a lead magnet, something for free, is because you want to turn these people who do not trust you, they literally don't know, like, or trust you, so you give them something for free, like a lead magnet or like a mini offer, something tangible, something that they can actually use to go and solve a problem, and then a small percentage of those people will actually start to trust you more, and then that makes it a lot easier to actually go and sell your core offer. So instead of converting 1 out of 25, you convert 3 out of 25. That is the main reason why we actually go and create lead magnets, and we're just basically getting people in your ecosystem so they actually know, you can actually go and deliver on your product or service or whatever you have. So there are different types of lead magnets, and I'm just going to go through these different types, but we're going to deep dive into all of them. So there are problem revealing lead magnets. So you might give someone a assessment or a quiz, and then they fill that out and they go, okay, well, now I've actually got this problem. So for example, Hormozi always talks about the website development agency where they might have a tool so people can actually just put their URL in, and then it will say, look, your site speed is slow, or it's average, or it's good. So then basically it reveals the next problem. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I've got this website and now the website is slow. If the website's slow, that means the conversion rate's going to be low. And it's just it's opening up another can of worms, and it's going to be another problem for that business owner. The classic example is like a free trial or a sample. So imagine when you go to Costco or you go to a market and they give out you free samples and things like that where you can go and try it. You don't necessarily need this food right now or whatever it is, but once you have a free sample of a piece of chocolate or whatever, it goes, okay, well, that was actually pretty nice. I would definitely go and buy this. And then you end up going buying a bulk of chocolate or whatever it may be. That's just another example. In Costco, when you're walking around, they're giving you cocktail sticks of chicken and things like that. It's okay, well, I didn't really know I wanted that, but it was actually really nice, so I'm going to buy it. Another classic example is a software example, so where they give a 2-week free trial. And then another example is one step of a multi-step process. So basically, your core offer has all of these different steps that someone needs that you need to actually go and take people through. So for example, if you're an email marketing agency, you've got loads of different things that you can be that you actually do for people, where you like create subject lines, you create lead lists, you have like good deliverability. But what you're going to do is basically explain to them, maybe on like a video training or a webinar, how to actually make your emails land in the inbox. So you would just pick out that one specific section of like what is your core offer. You would do a webinar or a video training on like how to actually deliver your emails into the inbox, and then that one step is then solved. But it doesn't solve how to do copywriting, how to handle the leads, how to do inbox management, how to actually write good subject lines. So it's basically showing that you're the expert in this one simple step, and it's going to open up another can of worms, and they're going to be like, well, I would actually pay this person to actually go and do my whole email marketing system for me. So we're going to go into how to actually deliver the lead magnets, but the main thing we want to look at is like the common misconceptions, because the common misconceptions about lead magnets are people are scared to give too much away. They're like, oh, I'm giving away all the sauce here. Like, if I give away too much, they're not going to pay me for my stuff. But that's completely wrong. The way you want to look at it is like, would you actually pay $50? So once you've created the lead magnet, would you or someone else actually pay $50 for it? Or would you pay like $100 for it? So that's a really good litmus test to be like, right, okay, well, this is valuable enough for me to actually go and promote this via, cold email or paid ads or whatever it may be. Like, is it worth $50? If not, go and redo it. And I'm going to show you some examples of how you could do this. But, if you make the lead magnet shit, so if you make the lead magnet terrible, it's going to tarnish like your reputation. Those people who download it or like go and sign up to the webinar, if the webinar is shit, they're going to tell their friends and stuff. So it's worse than actually not creating a lead magnet as a whole. So you want to make this lead magnet good. It's got to be worth $100 of value, and would you actually pay like $50 to $100 for it? And people are scared that they put too much time and effort into something like a lead magnet because it's free and they're wasting their time. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because if you make a shitty PDF that people used to do like a couple of years ago, and then you give that out to people, like when was the last time you actually downloaded a PDF and saved it to your computer and like came back to it or saved it on your phone? It's probably highly unlikely. But when was the last time you maybe like watched a webinar or like a video training or something like that of pure value? You actually took some good nuggets of information, and the key there is that you can actually go and implement on this. So for example, if we use the cold email deliverability example, it's like, yeah, I am actually running cold emails, and I'm getting a lot of bounces and things like that. My response rate's pretty terrible. You might watch that webinar on how to actually go and deliver cold emails into people's inboxes to get high response rates to then generate more leads and more revenue. You might take a few nuggets of information on how to actually increase your deliverability, and then you actually get good tangible results. So it's got to be something of value. So those are the sort of common misconceptions and how to actually think about like the litmus tests in terms of, would you actually pay for it? So how to actually brainstorm some ideas for your lead magnet. So it's as simple as break it down into like choose your niche. So, we're going to go through a lead generation example and an email marketing example. Think of 5 to 10 subcategories or like phases of what your core offering does. And then make a lead magnet for each one. So for my example, so I'm a lead generation business agency. So there is different sections of how to actually go and generate leads. You've got to figure out what your ideal customer profile is, your offer, how to actually capture attention. Are we going to be doing paid ads? Are we going to be doing cold email, LinkedIn outreach, Instagram outreach, whatever it may be? How are we actually going to go and capture those leads and qualify those leads? How to actually convert and close the leads, how to actually follow up and then nurture those leads further along the funnel, and then how to actually scale and like systemize your whole outreach. So there's so many different parts to generating leads. So if you think about your business, like you've got your core offering. Now, can you break it up into different parts, and then can you actually create a lead magnet around, how to actually build an offer or how to actually build your ICP? There's obviously so many more than this. Like there's so many more parts to it, like lead list building or whatever. So the email marketing example, you could literally create a free webinar on how to create the best subject lines, and you would go through it. It could be like a 30-minute, to 40-minute free training webinar, and then you're going to capture the leads, and then you're basically going to show people people that you know what you're doing and you're the expert in this section. So it opens up that can of worms, and it's like, right, okay, I'll probably pay this person to actually go and do the full service because I don't want to do it by myself. So questions to ask yourself, like, what's the one narrow problem that my best buyers already know they have? So if you think about some of your clients right now and, you know, your best clients, what's the one narrow problem that they already know they have? So if you start to think about, you know, what your ICP has, and then you can start to craft your lead magnets. And then you want to explain, like, so think about this question: what's the smallest piece of my expertise that proves my expertise? So the reason why we ask this is, like, we just want to know, we want to showcase to people that you know your stuff. And it's not necessarily that they're going to go and, you know, go into the inbox and do all the deliverability shit themselves. It's like they just want to know. So I'll put underneath here, people want to know that you know how to do it. So it's kind of a weird one, because you think about lead magnets, like you're telling people it's like an SOP, like how to actually do things. But most of the time, in my experience, people just want to know that you know how to do it. So then they're happy to part ways with their money, so then you can go and solve their next problem. And then after they consume this, like, what is the obvious next step that they can't do alone? So once you've actually, so if we use that deliverability example and we use a one-step of a multi-step process, they've actually done and watched the video training on how to actually make sure their emails deliver in the inbox. But what's the next step? So if we go back to this question, after they consume that video, what's the obvious next step they can't do alone? The obvious next step is, like, maybe how to scale their outreach from sending, 1,000 emails to like 10,000 emails. Like, that's a whole nother can of worms that they're probably not going to be able to do on their own, or they're probably not going to be able to, do good enough copywriting to actually get a high enough response rate. Like, there's so many different things here. I'm just trying to give some ideas for you to get your juices flowing. So if we think about the three different types, so we've just gone through how to actually choose the right type of lead magnet, and then we're going to go through how to actually deliver the lead magnet. So you've got these three different examples, and then you want to actually figure out how to actually go and deliver the lead magnet. And generally there's only four real ways to actually go and deliver the lead magnet. It's software, it's information. So software could be like a 2-week free trial. Information could be like a 30 to 40 minute webinar or like free training video that people can access. Services, this one's overlooked. It's literally like, hey, we will do this service for you for free or at a very small cost. So you actually just go and do it for people. And then physical products. So in this video, we're going to talk about these top three. So if we just go through some examples, the problem revealing type of lead magnet. So I haven't done many of these, but what you could do is actually get people to actually go through somewhat of a quiz. So this is just an example on Score App where you would say, like, ready to scale. So are you ready to scale your lead generation? Answer these 15 questions and we'll send you like a personalized report on how to actually, where are you at? Like, are you a 1 out of 10 for being ready to scale your lead generation, or are you a 10 out of 10? So when you click get started, you put your information, that is how you capture the leads, and then it'll take you over to something like this where you can basically start going through the survey or the questions, and then it will give you a score out of 10, and then that gives you the opportunity to actually go and follow up with those people based on the answers that you've given. So the next example, free trial or sample, I really like this one. A classic example would be if you go over to Instantly, we'll use the cold email theme for this. Loads of software platforms have a 2-week free trial, so it would literally just be like start for free, and then so you basically get like limited access for a certain amount of time, or you get limited access to features, and then they obviously you've solved like a mini problem, and then the real problem is like how to actually scale that, how to actually scale my email outreach without this software. So it's just a classic example. And then one step of a multi-step process. I really like this one as well because you can go in and really show your expertise. For example, you might have a free mini course or a video training or a masterclass or a live workshop or something like that, where you've got your video here, and then it would be like start the mini course, and then once they click select, then they put their name and email, and then they watch the training, and then you can go and sell to them after they've actually had that small nugget of information. So now you've actually figured out what types of lead magnets that you're going to create, and then how to actually go and deliver it. Now we're going to go through how to actually plug this into your funnel to make sure that it actually books sales calls. So I definitely used to overlook this part, which is the key part. This is the whole reason why we actually go and create lead magnets, is like you need to book sales calls or whatever your sales mechanism is. So this is just one example, and I'm going to explain an example of what I used to do and what we overlooked by doing it for my client, which we could have booked so many more calls if I knew what I knew now. So this is just one flow, but the main reason why we create lead magnets is to actually go and collect data and get them booked in for a call. But what most people don't talk about is like how to actually promote the lead magnet. So you've created this lead magnet. Now you need people to see it. You need people to give their contact information so then you can deliver the lead magnet. So you need to either use paid ads. You need to promote your lead magnet via cold outreach. So it could be LinkedIn outreach, it could be email outreach, Instagram, whatever it may be, or you promote it in your content. Then you collect their data, so emails, you collect people's emails or whatever it may be. Then you deliver the lead magnet. And this is the part that I overlooked, a couple of years ago when we could have got so many more meetings for ourselves and our clients, is like give people an option to actually go and book a call once you've delivered the lead magnet. So for example, if we go over to this page here, let's say I give my information, and then I get taken to another page, which basically, delivers the video. And then after that, you would put a call to action saying, hey, do you want us to actually go and do this yourself? If so, let's book a call with me, and then you'll be able to speak to one of our team and we'll see if you're a good fit. So, and if people actually don't click that, so if they don't go straight to the book a call, this is where you have your email nurture sequence and your email flows to actually pick up the slack to make sure people actually go and book in a sales call with you, or book in a sales call with your team members or whatever. So if we just recap that, it's basically traffic. So you might be using cold email to reach out to people, or you might be using paid ads. You collect their data, you give them the lead magnet, and then you give them the opportunity to actually go and book a call. And the opportunity to go and book a call is your core offer. So this is why, if we go back to the lead magnets here, these lead magnets need to be something that is so directly correlated to your core offer, and it opens up that sort of can of worms, like I was saying. So if we go back here, you've got your core offer. Yeah, you could easily definitely go and promote that. Only 3% of the market is available to actually, is ready to actually go and buy your product or service, but no one trusts you. So what do? You create a lead magnet offer that actually turns some of these people into people who trust you. So then you can pitch your core offer. And then it needs to solve that narrow problem to reveal the next problem. So for example, we were talking about the one step of a multi-step process, which would be here, where you would have like a video. That video needs to be relevant to your product or service. I mean, it just makes total sense. Hopefully that's clear. So just going to go through some different examples. So one step of a multi-step process. So for example, one of my lead magnets, it's just a simple training. So on how to actually book sales meetings with your dream clients on LinkedIn. So essentially, the main sort of call to actions I have in my YouTube videos are basically driving people over to this, and then they would give me their name and email, and then they get access to a full video training on how to actually go and book sales calls with LinkedIn. This is quite extensive. And then once people actually go and watch this, you've got a video at the end, which is like softly promoting like my offer. And then also, if people are still sort of on the fence and they're not ready to actually go and book a call, we have an email sequence flow to actually give them value, not just like pitch them straight away every single day. It's like give people value, and then there's soft call to actions to just simply go and book a call with us. So it's super simple. And this, if we look at this, so the type of lead magnet that this is, it's a one step of a multi-step process. Essentially, the delivery mechanism is information. So I'm actually giving people videos and information. But one of the key nuggets here, and especially what I found is, so you've got the people who just give a shitty PDF out, right? And then you've got those people who give like tangible things like videos and information, and then they're showing their face. And the reason why showing your face is so important here, especially with the lead magnet, if possible, if it like suits your business, is because people start to know, like, and trust you more. And then once they know, like, and trust you more, they know that you're an expert, they know that you know your stuff, and they know you're not gonna, fuck it up if you actually go and do the product, or if you actually go and deliver your product or service. And then they're more likely to go and book a call with you and actually offer and actually go and buy your product or service. So this is why I've got my face here. If you look on other people's lead magnets, generally the best lead magnets, especially when it's information, you've got someone's face there. So then it sort of builds that trust, and it builds the trust with the prospects. So another example would be if you were to actually run paid ads. So again, one step of a multi-step process. The delivery mechanism could be email, could be information, so like videos or whatever. So you would basically run simple paid ads to a video training, which would basically capture people's information on a landing page. Then you give them the information, so you actually give them access to the video. And then on the second page, there would be a thank you page, and there would be a small VSL there, so a video sales letter, to basically promote your core offer. And then if they don't actually want to book the call straight away, you would have your email nurture. So this example here is pretty much what I was talking about here, which is what I used to overlook a lot. So you've got your paid ads, so you've got your Facebook ads, you collect people's data. So you take people over to a landing page, collect their data, you deliver the video training. And then on that second page, after that, on the thank you page, so you're sort of step 2 of the funnel, you would actually give people an opportunity to go and book a call. And the best examples there are where you've actually got like a VSL, like another video, basically explaining your core offer. So you would basically say something like, now you've solved email deliverability. If you want our team to actually go and create your full lead generation system through email marketing, here's how we do it, XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Book a call with our team, and we will see if we are the right fit. Like I said, people might not book a call straight away. That's where your email flows pick up the slack. So another example here would be to actually give someone a free trial or a sample. Now, the delivery mechanism here could literally be services. So for example, if you're a service-based business, you may actually, so let's say like you run ads for people, like you run Facebook and Instagram ads or Google ads, you could basically reach out to people on LinkedIn and email and basically say, hey, we will do we'll run your ads for 30 days. Alex Hormozi gives this example. So we'll run gym owners ads for 30 days. They actually start getting real leads, they make real money. And then once the 30 days actually ends, the obvious question is like, how do I keep going? Like, why would I turn this off? Like the answer is your paid core offer. Like if you're already making people money and you're generating leads, like there's no way that they would want to turn it off unless, for whatever reason. So if you just think about your business, like could you offer some sort of a free trial or a sample to actually get the juices flowing? So for example, if you're a website development agency, could you actually go and reach out to companies and say like, we will go and create a good landing page for your business, or like a certain page on your business that's aimed to convert a lot higher. Another example could be if you are a videography agency, could you actually go and do a sample reel for their Instagram or something like that? Or could you do like a sample 30 seconds of their YouTube video, for example? Could you do that for free just to show that, okay, well, I actually know what I'm doing. This is actually a good service that I provide. Here's a snippet, and then you do it for free. And then the obvious answer is like, okay, well, let's actually go and create like 30, whatever your core offer is on how you actually deliver your videographer services. So another example here, so the type would be like free trial or sample, and the delivery mechanism would be software. So a really good example with one of my clients is we literally just use email and LinkedIn, and we reach out to their ideal target market that's like segmented, and we basically tell people, hey, we're running this webinar in 2 weeks or 1 week or next month. And we get people on the webinar, and it gives them all the source, it gives them all the value. And then what we do at the very end of that webinar is we just soft pitch the 2-week trial of the SaaS platform. So it's super simple. And then obviously once we've got the list of people who sign up to the webinar, so if there's like 100 people signed up to the webinar, what we do is we email nurture those people who are high intent. They've literally watched an hour. I think we do like 45 minutes with this client of a webinar, and they know, like, and trust the client. And then we just basically pitch them after the email and say like, hey, hope you enjoyed the webinar. We're offering a extended trial for all the people who actually attended the webinar. Do you want in? Because there's only limited slots available. And then generally most people say, yeah, I'm happy to have a look. Let's get started. And then they fill out the onboarding form and we get them set up. So this is like a really simple example. And as well, with the cold outreach here, like, it's not a hard pitch. Like, we're not, if we go back up here, like, we're not actually I mean, what we could do is basically just use the cold email to, pinpoint and just say, do you want to buy this software? That's what we could do. But what we do instead is, these people just don't trust us. They don't even know that, they don't even know the client. They don't even know the software. They're like, who the hell's this? So what we do is we say, the lead magnet in this case is a webinar, and we basically drive people to the webinar. And then we build up a little bit of trust. They know, like, and trust us more. And then we actually go and pitch the free trial. And then once they've done the trial, that's when the conversion happens, because they run a feedback call and then they get people signed up for the core offer. So that sort of strategy can be implemented, not just for if you're a software business. That could be anything. You just got to think about, how can you actually give people enough value so they know, like, and trust you? How do I actually follow up with them? And then how am I actually going to go and deliver the product or service? Now, if you've got this far in the video and you do still want some help with your lead generation, you can click the link in the description, and it will explain how I might be able to help you. No worries if not. If not, I will see you on the next one. Peace.